of global vision aligned with local execution is the key to driving impactful outcome. So we will discuss how big companies uh, design their product or service based on the local needs and how it become a effective outcome that helps the business to drive effectively. Before we begin, we encourage all the attendees to actively participate and ask questions throughout the session. It will help the live discussion more informative and enriching for everyone involved. And we are delighted to announce a certificate for participants which will be provided at the end of the session. So it is requested to keep yourself till the end of the session. Today we have our esteemed panelist Claudius Lestrade, Director of Financial Services Unit, Ministry of Finance in Dominica. Claudius is a financial strategist with a year of experience in economic policy development. Claudius is also dedicated in growth of finance and fiscal innovation and resilience. We have Morve Changa. He is a project manager in government of Zimbabwe. He has extensive experience in project management and implementation. Morve is very much forefront in aligning local initiative with global economic trends. Thank you for being here, and we will start right away. Uh, Thank you. Yeah. So here, as we are already seeing that global vision is one of the main aspect where companies think broadly. So first of all, it has to be unified. So there is a global mission and certain strategic objective. So uh, establishing that company what they do extensive research and focused on innovation and market leadership. They build their products, they come up with innovative ideas, and then based on that, they capitalize those ideas into emerging global trends and technologies, which become successful in the global in the market. Uh, Sal, can we go to the next slide? Now, based on this scenario, what the big companies do is they basically uh, tailor their product into the specific need, into the specific regional need. Now, there are certain expertise, there are certain research done to understand the cultural aspect, to understand the uh, local aspect, and into this, there are certain regional team is being made to build the product, to build the resources. Okay, can you go to the next slide? Now, there are certain components of global vision. First is market expansion. So, first objective is to understand why going through the local need. So, basically, what the company do is they want to expand their market, and the process they will be doing it is understanding the local need of the specific market, and based on that, they will expand their market. We have several examples that we will be showcasing in the up, uh, few in the next slides. Second is sustainability. Of course, when any company wants to design any product, basically they want to sustain their companies through the products and design through their after sale service. So adopting those practice will give a long term impact. Third, we have technology integration. So with the edge of artificial intelligence, IoT, big data, the companies have insights to build the product, to build the service, and to design the product and service based on the regional need. And last but not the least, the brand consistency. So basically, in order to keep a good brand image, good brand identity globally, this kind of designing is being done so that it become easier for the company to sustain in the market. So, Sally, I would like to also give introduce Simba, who had joined. So we have another panelist. He is Simba Rashe M. Maridi. He is a head of digital transformation A guide point, Botswana. Simba is a visionary leader with expertise in digital innovation, organizational transformation. Simba is a reshaping business person who thrive rapidly in digitizing global economy. Thank you, Simba, for joining in this discussion. Uh, we would like to proceed with the next slide. Over to Sally. Thank you.
Thank you, Arga. Thank you so much for setting the background for this today's webinar, wherein we are discussing how companies are setting up the global vision, whereas they are still maintaining the local action. Is my screen visible, Arga?
Yes, yes, quite.
Okay. So here, if you can see in this slide, what we have done is we have implemented the local actions wherein the companies are understanding how local markets are working. They conduct market research, they carry out all kinds of information gathering where they are understanding the local cultures and how people behave in those countries or those specific geographical regions, and that is when they understand the customer preferences, and that is how they cater or they tailor their products and their strategies. They also plan for customized marketing where they pinpoint or they sense what the customer psyche is, and that is how they customize their overall marketing strategies, and the customer becomes very attached or very emotional about the product, and that is how they have this strategy of customized marketing. They also partner with local vendors, for example, farmers or maybe local warehouse keepers or local stock keepers, and they come up with different strategies of sourcing the material. For example, a food manufacturing company can tie up with local farmers for a particular type of vegetable or a product, and that is how they can still maintain the quality or the product which they are manufacturing. They also go with flexible operations where they come up with a very unique supply chain management. For example, in developing countries, these big Fortune 500 companies are packaging and supplying very specific sizes of their products, especially the FMCG industry, wherein they know that the customer might not have that much of loose cash in their hands, and that is why they are preferring to package their products in small sizes. Let us move to the second slide. I'm sorry, I'm experiencing some internet connectivity here. Let me quickly share my screen again. I
No, no,
apologize for.
okay. It's okay.
Okay. In the next slide, we are going to conclude, wherein we will, after that, we will be inviting our panelists. And before that, we will quickly take a look at the benefits of global vision and local action. The first benefit that we can see on the slide is enhanced competitiveness, wherein the companies are trying to stay relevant in the global markets. However, their strategy is local, adapting local culture, adapting local taste, adapting local preferences. That is how they are preferring to stay ahead in the race and remain competitive in the local as well as the global market. The second benefit of this strategy is customer loyalty. So if you listen carefully to the examples that we will be discussing after these slides, uh, you will realize that these Fortune 500 companies are really sticking to their customers and making these very, very loyal customers, and wherein they do not prefer their competitors and still go ahead and capture the local market. The third benefit of this strategy is resilience, wherein they are diversifying risks across multiple regions. So, if a company is planning to go in global locations, they are distributing the risks that whereas either as compared to staying in one location and tapping the same market again and again. So that is a big benefit for the strategy. The last benefit is scalability, wherein these companies are growing very sustainably, and through strategic localization, their teams go for rigorous research, as in where to establish, how to establish, when to establish. So all these things are done through scalability. Um, and now we will see more examples with these same benefits and strategies. So, whatever Arga and I have discussed so far, let us quickly conclude before we invite our panelists for discussing some Fortune 500 companies. These global companies have aligned with the strategies with local execution for their sustainable growth, and they have seen consistent growth by adapting these local strategies. They have also invested in local talent and infrastructure for effective implementation. So, where if they select a developing country, they make sure that they are hiring the local talent so that they get fresh ideas, they get the opinions, they understand the local culture very well, and this talent helps them in uh, capturing the market. Also, there is a continuously monitoring and adapt to local market dynamics. Every market keeps on have changing a lot. It is all the time dynamic, and hence this strategy works very well. So, our mission for today's webinar is think globally and act locally. This will be our mantra for success. Now, I first invite Mr. Claudius, who will discuss one of the Fortune 500 companies, and I'm sure that McDonald's is one of the most favorite hangout spots or eatery amongst many of us today. Claudius?
Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity to present here. And in keeping in line with the theme, think globally, act locally, with respect to McDonald's, what we have identified with McDonald's in Dominica and the Caribbean region by extension is that in context with the topic, McDonald's found itself by incorporating local flavors into its menu in the Caribbean region and Dominica by extension, which catered to the taste of the local population. And one such instance is that some of their products were inspired by dishes in the region, examples such as plantains, patties, and tropical. Some of their beverages were tropically flavored. McDonald's, to the extent further, went and had limited time menus, which had a component of local ingredients during specific seasons, during cricket games, during festive holidays, and so forth. In sourcing its ingredient, McDonald's was locally able to support the local economy and provide more fresher and regionally flavored meals. Also, what we saw was the market campaigns. McDonald would have employed and celebrated Caribbean culture by featuring local music, festivities and scenery, etc., and also use its image to identify with Caribbean pride and identity by sponsoring local and regional events such as our carnival, sports competitions, and help to connect the brand with local audiences. In the Caribbean and Dominica, one of the aspects also was one operated by the local franchises. So McDonald would have operated not as a main branch, but as a local franchise, which allowed the McDonald to blend with the community preferences and the wider economic dynamics. So those are some of the local components that McDonald would have incorporated while thinking locally and acting globally. So in a nutshell, I can summarize by saying that McDonald would have established a strong presence in the Caribbean by integrating its local cultures with the local economy and its products into the local economy, while maintaining a level of attractiveness and subconsciousness of the market and the consideration for the market in which it operates. On the other hand, Coca-Cola would have adapted similar approaches to the context that Coca-Cola, what would have seen with Coca-Cola is that Coca-Cola would have tailored its product to suit the Caribbean market and Dominica by extension. One such approach would have been the sizes of its beverages. They would have tailored the beverages to attract different markets, different market sizes. So the sizes to fit the local purchasing power would have been tailored. In some communities, the sizes of the products will reduce to accommodate the spending power of some of the population and to make those products that Coca-Cola offered a bit more affordable. Also, there was innovation in terms of the flavor. Coca-Cola would have introduced some tropical flavors because of the Caribbean culture. They would have introduced some tropical flavors in Dominica, such as lime, mango, and commonly known coconut, which resonates with what we identify in the Caribbean. Also, in terms of its packaging, with response to the environmental concerns, Coca-Cola would have tailored its product that is focused on an eco-friendly packaging environment. In the region, most of the islands and Dominica considered eco-friendly and natural jurisdictions, and Coca-Cola would have packaged its product while maintaining this eco-friendly environment and conservation to marine property, etc. So those are some of the areas that both Coca-Cola and McDonald's would have dealt with. Also, in terms of its marketing, Coca-Cola would have also, like McDonald's, identified its products to suit certain festivities and certain cultural activities that would resonate with the people. So, as I mentioned, Coca-Cola has also implemented a recycling program, and that has also helped in the management of waste reduction and etc. So those are some of the concepts that both of these organizations would have to consider while thinking locally and acting globally in this area.
Thank you, Claudius, for those very insightful points. You rightly mentioned how Coca-Cola and McDonald's come up with local strategies as far as your region and your country is concerned. And for example, if there is a football match, or if there is a local sport which people really like, how they change their strategies or how they change their marketing and make it very customized to that particular region. And thank you for the examples. We will now invite Mr. Morways for the next Fortune 5 companies.
Thank you, Saya. I'll first look at Nike company, and Nike company. You know, it's a big brand world over, especially in terms of production of sports apparel, and you know, it is one of the biggest companies that actually sponsors major competitions, like in the United States. It is linked to the NBA, the National Basketball League in America, where it is a partner with the NBA teams. So you know that in terms of their global vision, they are looking at bringing inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. So it's not just in basketball, but you see them even in athletics, you see them in any sport. So in trying to bring the inspiration and innovation, I'll look at what they are trying to do in some countries. For example, in Japan, they've designed smaller shoe sizes, which are incorporated in local motifs into special editions for the local market in Japan. You know, most Japanese, in terms of their body structure, they are not as tall as the Americans. So even in terms of the shoe sizes, the Nike companies try to align their brand products to also suit the Japanese market. And also in India, you know, India and most of the countries in the Asian side around India, they are well known for cricket. So Nike has actually adapted and developed the cricket-specific apparel and equipment, which is aligned now to the interests of the nation. You know, cricket, it's a big sport. You talk of cricket in India and even Pakistan. So in trying to align and adapt to their vision of innovation and bringing inspiration to every athlete, Nike has also developed the equipment and the sport kit for cricket-specific competitions. So for Nike, basically, they've actually tried to satisfy the needs of the market that they've penetrated, which traditionally has not been their big market.
Thank you. Thank you, Maurice. Now we have Apple. Is my screen visible?
Yes, your screen is visible. Yes. So I will then proceed to the other company, which is Apple. You know, Apple is well known the world over for its product brand because of the cutting edge technology. So their global vision is they want to deliver cutting edge technology with superior user experience. You know, certain products are not compatible with the Apple products because Apple is actually ring-fenced and they've protected their products to an extent that you can only use Apple products to suit the equipment or product that is Apple oriented. So in terms of then alignment of their global vision to local action, also look at the two countries that Apple is operating in. For example, in India, Apple has opened Apple retail stores with financing options tailored to the local market. So they've understood the kind of business in India, and they've then aligned the financing options to suit the Indian market in terms of the Apple products. And also, if you look at China, you know, China is also known in terms of production of certain components for the technology that the companies like Apple and other Android companies manufacture. So in China, Apple has introduced features like dual SIM functionality to cater to local consumer needs. So they understand that in India, in China, aside from just having one SIM in your Apple device, they've actually adapted and introduced a dual SIM functionality, which has not been a trend in most of Apple products. You will find that an Apple product usually is just a one SIM device, but in China, they've actually adapted so that it suits the functionality and cater for the local consumer demands. So these are the two companies that I've looked at for now, and I know I'll be looking at others as
So
we
Simba can also give some overview. If Simba Rase, are we audible? Can you speak?
Yes, I am audible. Let
Yeah.
me.
So any thoughts on Apple, Starbucks that you can talk upon?
Yes, they are actually. You see, with those companies, what they have done is that they've mastered the art of scaling through concise frameworks. So, as an example, you'd find that there's what they call brand consistency. Yeah? No matter which country you go to, if you see that swoosh, you can tell that's what? That is Nike. Yeah? But what they do now is they take that consistent framework across regions, but then they now do micro adjustments to allow them now to be consistent to the environment. So it's one of those key factors that I found in every organization that we've talked about, whether it's Starbucks, Nike, McDonald's, Apple. you cannot miss that brand logo, whether it's that half-bitten apple, whether it's the lady there that you find in Starbucks, or the iconic, what do you call it, design from McDonald's. So there's brand consistency, but then they do micro adjustments to allow them to be able to penetrate regions, which is a very strategic way in how they operate. And it allows them also to scale without really affecting their assembly line type of business model. And it's quite an ingenious way of actually doing their business.
That's a very good
Yes,
point,
yes.
Simba.
So, can you give shed light on Unilever?
All right. All right. Thank you so much. Unilever is one of those iconic companies that I think most of the world is familiar with. The funny thing is, people know the products, but they never knew the actual parent company. I know back in Zimbabwe when I was growing up, there were certain products that we were using. We never knew they were Unilever products, but as I grew up and as I went to school later on, I only discovered later on that it was actually Unilever. But they've actually become quite a big brand in the sense that they specialized in day-to-day products that everyone had a touch point in. And you would know it's a Unilever product because of that issue that I was talking about of brand consistency. When you look at some of the other markets that they operate in, as an example, when you're looking at the issue in Brazil, they've actually been able to do like these types of packaging that allows them to be able to cater to certain regions. Some of the products that are in the Unilever range, they're quite premium, they're quite expensive, but they found ways now of penetrating other markets by finding ways of cutting costs without compromising the quality of their products. I remember also a very popular product that we've used globally that initially used to be associated with that type of an hard individual. I think the product was called Lifebuoy, but that brand has managed to actually penetrate every single market. I was actually shocked to find out there were variants of Lifebuoy in South Africa, there were variants of Lifebuoy in East Asia, and I even found out that there was also variants of Lifebuoy in India. So they found ways of actually customizing that brand to be able to suit local markets. But at the end of the day, there's brand consistency. All of them are Lifebuoy. So they're able to scale their business, but now micro adjusting to suit local markets. And I've actually heard that in some other markets, they actually slightly changed the name, but the brand is still very much consistent.
Brand
The brand
consistency.
identity is the same, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
Morvez, would you like to add something as far as Starbucks or Unilever is concerned?
Maybe just to add uh, uh, for, I just wanted to give an example in also how they are on a global scale for 2019. And as such, they've been recognized as one of the businesses making the most progress in this space. So in terms of also environmental issues, you then discover that Unilever is amongst those companies that are also taking the lead in terms of recycling plastic use.
Great, great. That is something or every country they have adapted to some local culture or something which is very sensitive to the local customers there, and that is how they have strategized their product launch or product penetration. We have some more companies or brands which we will be discussing. Claudius, would you like to go for KFC?
Yes. Likewise, what we have seen with KFC is KFC has tailored product as an international brand to a domestic flavor type of brand where they have done a lot of rebranding in the region. They have tailored their approach in terms of their marketing strategy, the type of products they offered, the flavors of the different type of seasoning, spices, etc., while maintaining the standard They have tailored their product to the appetite of the population in the Caribbean. So they have also identified an increase, we have realized an increase in KFC's marketing branding, where they have penetrated the market in every crevice and corners of society in terms of their marketing strategy by engaging in community-based activities in their corporate social responsibility, their sponsorship of various events, which are sometimes educational, in most cases environmental friendly, in maintaining the standards that the Caribbean islands identify as a nature-friendly society. KFC has maintained a strong presence in their marketing techniques, in the camping, in camping, their recycling process, some of their products, the containers and the cups that are used have been redefined to be recycled. So they have found themselves adjusting to the demands of changes even at the governmental levels to maintain their market presence while maintaining the standards of KFC, not tweaking the product, but tweaking their marketing campaigns to maintain the standard that KFC globalized as a brand in a local environment. So we have seen consistent innovation in their product type, their marketing strategies, in maintaining a constant presence while maintaining that global KFC brand. So this is the main component that we have seen: the innovation, consistent innovation in the KFC marketing and product branding in the region.
Claudius, I think you have touched a very, very important point here, which is the corporate social responsibility these companies or these brands are sharing with the local committees or local people there. And specifically the developing countries, these are very cash-rich companies, and they are initiating for a lot of CSR activities like girl education, sanitation, hygiene, primary education. So these activities are really catching up, and that is how they are gaining the confidence and the loyalty from the local customers there. And you have touched a very important point. Thank you for highlighting that point, Claudius.
Thank you.
We have IKEA. Simba, would you like to go for IKEA?
Yes, IKEA. I think it's one of those brands that I first became introduced to when I started staying alone, and I needed now to start organizing my own furniture as a young man. And it's quite interesting that initially it started off in the Scandinavian countries where they're quite obsessed with minimalism and with I think they are more concerned with function over form and aesthetics. But you find that as the years have gone by, it's a brand that has been able to tailor make itself to be able to adapt to different environments.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yes. And the
Yes.
funny part about it is like I think in the regions, like mostly in Africa, IKEA has become sort of like a brand that became more concerned with the public sector than with individuals. So as an example, you find that in Botswana, IKEA supplies the government with a lot of furniture for their departments, and they've been able now to tailor make that into a brand that is slightly above the cut, as opposed to the normal Scandinavian minimalistic look. But you can still tell this is IKEA. It's assembled on site, but it's a beautiful and high quality brand.
Absolutely. And it's a very user-friendly. If you read their instructions, you can quickly assemble the piece of furniture easily. Thank you,
Anyone
Simba.
can.
Yeah. So it's interesting to know that whatever brands we have covered, if we have our entire day in front of us, right from we wake up to we sleep at night. So if you consider all the brands here, we wake up using Unilever products, brushing our teeth, and soaps and everything. We drink Starbucks coffee. We use Apple products. We wear Nike shoes. We wear Nike sportswear. We have McDonald's and KFC during the weekends. And so that is how, if you consider our entire living, I think brands like these have captured our entire humanity or entire living standard. Thought occurred to me at the very same moment. So I just thought of sharing it with you all, that how important these brands have become, or rather they have strategized in such a way that they want us to make these products as part of our daily lives. So Arga, we can start with the questions.
Yeah, so basically the primary key takeaway questions from the entire discussion. So the first question would be I would like to ask Claudius that how can companies apply global strategies while staying relevant and responsive to the local market? Can you elaborate on this question?
Thanks. Yeah. So importantly, in maintaining staying relevant while applying those strategies, a few things companies can take into consideration is its focus on the customer, or what we say, staying relevant in the community by engaging the community, interacting with customers, understanding their preferences, and their pains, their trends, um, conducting surveys, using the different methods, hosting events, as I mentioned earlier, corporate social responsibilities, or the use of social media in getting feedback. This could allow companies to, to apply strategies while maintaining their relevance in the local market. Also, personalized offering, tailor their products to the specific needs of a population or market can help them to differentiate from other competitors. Another element could be leveraging, or what we say, collaboration with local partnerships. So the collaborations with local businesses, suppliers, consumers, organizations can allow these institutions to share resources and enhance their visibility and local presence, as well as local influencers and people who have community influence. This can allow these companies to build trust and reach a certain target audience. Also, another element is investment in employment empowerment. By understanding the employment culture, the employment needs of the people, they are better able to cater for the local preferences and choices, as well as adapting to the local marketing strategies, using the use of relevant cultural messages, the local languages and dialects specific to the areas, to identify and resonate with the people that these companies want to target. Also, the use of digital presence. We're in digital world, and it's important to maintain an active presence on social media platforms and other digital methods in the local market to enable those companies to maintain, to capitalize and their local strategies in response to the local markets.
Oh, great. Glad to understand that. So we have another question that I would like to ask Morve. Uh, Morve, can you? We have another one question and this is from the key takeaway only. So what are some challenges that companies faced when trying to balance the global and local need? And it is also one of the questions from the panelists as well, from the attendees as well.
Yes, thank you, Aga. I think I'll start by also linking this question to what Claudius is just said now, that there is an element of adaptation that most companies have to do in order to meet the needs of the local market. But for any company to adapt, they have to do a lot of research to research their market and then understand the needs of that local market. So some of the challenges then that companies are facing now is mostly to do with their global impact in terms of sustainability. Right now, most of the customers have become conscious and are always on track to see whether a product is impacting the environment positively or it's impacting the environment negatively. So companies are facing a challenge in understanding the local sustainability initiatives vis-a-vis against the global sustainability goals. You know, as a global market, we are grappling with the issues of waste, plastic waste, the issues of climate change and these issues. So a company should understand the local sustainability initiatives that are happening at a local level. I'll give an example for Japan. You know, Japan, they are doing a lot in terms of environmental sustainability to an extent that if you look at one of the examples that we gave of Starbucks, they've actually started using straws that are eco-friendly, that are biodegradable. Because the local market itself, Japan, they want to keep the environment in check. And so Starbucks has to adapt to that. Also aligning corporate sustainability goals with the local needs. Because at a global scale, as a company, you are focused on your corporate goals. What you want to achieve is aligned to your vision. But you then need to align your corporate goals with the local needs of the market that you are getting into. And also earlier on, Sai spoke about engaging stakeholders. Engaging stakeholders at any level is one of the biggest challenges that a company can face, because you are dealing with different groups. Some groups that you are dealing with are actually pressure groups. They are maybe campaigning against your products, but you need to engage with these people to understand their needs, the dynamics around which they are also campaigning against your product. So stakeholder engagement is also one of the challenges that companies can also face. And you need to understand who are your stakeholders, how do you engage with them, how do you have a round table with them so that you then develop your product and expand your market accordingly. And also managing sustainability now with the global workforce. As a multinational corporation, you are dealing with employees maybe in excess of 1,000 to 2,000 in different regions of the world. And because of that, now you want to manage your organization and its sustainability goals across the global workforce, and it has to be a standard. Not like in one country you are achieving more, and in another country it's actually not making any meaningful impact. And the last one that I think is one of the challenges that companies also are facing is advocating for sustainability in growth focus. Like I mentioned earlier, issues of sustainability, climate change are a big issue. But as a company, are you just doing it for the sake of a tick box approach, or are you walking the talk? You see some of the companies that we mentioned, Unilever, it's actually one of the companies that is invited to United Nations Global Summits to discuss on sustainability issues. So those, for me, are some of the challenges that companies are facing when trying to balance global goals with the local needs.
Okay, so there are certain other challenges that are being asked by the attendees that we will ask after some time. So I have another question considering this discussion only, and that I will be asking to Simba that what role does local culture play in shaping companies' global approach and how companies can adapt accordingly?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I think I'll go back to what actually Claudius and Moes have actually talked about in regards to the issues of being very conscious of the local environment that you are working with. So as an example, there are many cultural practices that are in certain regions that may not be in the parent region where that multinational organization started in. So as an example, you may find that certain regions are not in line with the use of certain products within foodstuffs. So as an example, you may find that in Indonesia, they do not partake in pork products, and it's a practice that is throughout the entire nation. So now when you have a brand which is in that type of a country, you need to customize now how, one, you prepare your products, package them, and also present them to the population. Or one, you may not get licensing, or number two, you may end up now actually losing your market share. So maintaining that pulse on your local markets helps that organization now to be able to tailor make their products also to meet the local demands. So that's one part now. Then there's another issue also where you may find that there's sort of like a cult loyalty to certain products. So as an example, everyone knows that McDonald's has a particular beverage called the McFlurry. It's consistent throughout the entire world. It's a product that is loved by everyone. But then now certain regions have adopted certain standards when it comes to food preparation in regards to, one, the issue of sugar content and the use of particular sugar products that are used to make sugary beverages. So like corn fructose syrup. So certain regions have actually banned the use of such products, or they've now required that certain products have too much sugar, so they need to be lowered in the sugar content. Certain regions have also included restrictions in the amount of sodium that is put into certain products. So, as an organization as big as, let's say, the KFCs, the McDonald's, they need to be very conscious of what's happening in these environments so they can now be able to go back to the drawing board and reinvent how they actually produce those particular products to meet those local requirements, or they may not be now fit for the region. So some of those things are something that needs to be looked at. It might be a product that is loved throughout the entire globe, but they need to slightly now modify how it's done so that they can be able to have compliance for the various regions.
So there are two questions from there are many questions. I would like to pick some of them. The one question is from Clevus. He is asking that how we can take the help of AI in boosting the local and global market. So can any of you can give the answer?
Maybe
How?
I will start looking at AI technology. I want to relate to the example that we gave of Unilever. You know,
Okay.
Unilever is a very strong research and development department, which is not housed in any particular country. You find that the research and development section of Unilever is also a global entity on its own. It's in different countries. So you know that in improving their brand product, remember they are a multi-brand company, is mentioned by Simba earlier. They do soaps, they do food products, they do quite a variety of products. So in using AI technology now, they are even bettering their products by actually aligning it to the current needs of the people. The issues of cutting on sugar, because cutting on sugar is actually linked to quite a number of diseases that are coming up. These are non-communicable diseases that are cropping up as we develop as a people. So in using AI now, they're even able to actually try to adapt the different kinds of soaps to the different kinds of people in terms of where those people are coming from. So AI technology is actually a key component now for growth of any multinational operation that's operating at a global scale.
So for extensive research
It
work
definitely.
or getting big data, we can take we can take the help of AI to do alter the product, to design the product based on the local need. So I think AI can will be one of the future technology that can help the organization to design the product as per the local need, I guess. Thank you.
Yes,
More,
yes.
another question is very interesting question I would like to ask, and anyone can answer. So how does this effective way can help any global company to take decision? It is actually asked by Carolyn. So can anyone answer? Simba, Claudius.
Can you repeat the question again?
So like, wait, it's gone. Wait, give me a moment. Wait, where does it go? It's So what are the, what are the some effective way to gather insight into a local market to take global decisions, global decision making? You are on mute,
I can
Simba.
also, I can also attempt while Simba and Claudius are also pondering on it. I think the most effective way to gather insights is just to do research. If you don't do your
But
market research,
going through the extensive R&D can help, and it can help to do the
yes,
global.
if you don't do a thorough market research
And the
of
research should be focusing on the cultural aspect so that it can tweak the product and do the designing. Right. So we are already at the end of the discussion. So I would like to ask Sally to conclude the live discussion. And thank you once again, Claudius, Morvay, and Simbarashe to be a part of this discussion and give your insight. Sally, you can take over and do the needful.
Thank you, Arga. And once again, thank you for all the panelists who have come today and shared their vast experience and shared all the wonderful examples and the insights as far as this strategy is concerned, global vision and local action. We really appreciate that you have given time to Uni Athena and all the panelists. As you can see, there are plenty of messages we have been receiving since we started this session. Everybody is appreciating with this webinar and the kind of insights that you all have provided. Thank you so much once again. I would like to quickly take our attendees through Uni Athena Uni Athena's information, and let me quickly take you through some important information and what all courses we cover. So Uni Athena is a flexible and affordable education platform, and we have self-paced programs, and we have over 3 million subscribers all over the world. And if you are thinking of upskilling yourself, if you are thinking that let me jazz up my resume a little bit, Uni Athena is going to be the right choice for you. So stay tuned, and I will take you quickly through some of the most important information as far as your career is concerned. Uni Athena is an edtech organization, and we have self-paced programs, and we have right from bachelor's degree to doctorate degrees. There are plenty of programs available. If you go to our website, you will see that there are plenty of specializations covered, and there are plenty of sectors that are getting covered. Uni Athena was founded in 2019, and it is owned by Westford Ventures. It is also known as Westford Education Group, and they've been operating since 2008 in higher education sector. The most unique thing about Uni Athena is the affiliations or the associations that we have with universities worldwide. Some of the universities are Abate, Unimarconi, the UCAM University, and we also have affiliations with some of the certifications bodies, which is CIQ or CMI. And this is what makes the Uni Athena programs very, very special. Why Uni Athena? First of all, there are many features. First of all is flexible payment. You can opt for flexible payment if you do not have enough funds, or you can always pay as you progress, and every module you can complete, and you can progress to the next module and make payment. That is one of the features of Uni Athena. 100% online, even if you are constantly moving, or if you are on business tours, you need not worry. You can access our material anywhere and everywhere from the world. It's self-paced. Some people have their personal priorities, some have their work commitments. So you can always pace your own studies. You can be a weekend learner. You can be a everyday learner. It is completely up to you how to pace and how to prioritize your own studies. Then, as I said, we have accredited with universities globally. That is one of the key parts of Uni Athena. You also get personal tutors and academic associates, wherein the moment you register for your course, you are guided by a personal tutor who will take you through different kind of orientations, your assignment assistance, your any challenges that you face throughout the course. You have a personal tutor, and this is not an AI generated, but a live personal tutor who will be there for you. You can always take help and guidance from that personal tutor. And the modular course delivery, as and when your courses are delivered with different kinds of modules. Now, if you are looking for a career in business management, you are going to definitely appreciate the information that I'm sharing with you. This is a globally recognized MBA, and there are different payment plans for you. There can be a fast track plan as well as a flexible plan. A fast track plan is it ranges from only for 45 days, whereas flexible can go up to 60 days. Fast track has a scheduled payment, whereas flexible you can pay as and how you progress with the modules. Now, this MBA is going to be a 60 ECTS MBA, and you can complete within 9 months from different accredited universities, which are mentioned on the screen. We have some testimonials from our learners who have really appreciated the programs, and they are very thankful to Uni Athena, where they have gotten the assistance from the tutors. They have had very user-friendly portals, and they are really enjoying the fruits of their MBAs, and they have upskilled themselves. So these are a couple of testimonials from some of our learners worldwide. Domingos is from Mozambique. And if you are interested in any of the programs from Uni Athena, I would request you to take a screenshot of the slide. And we have two email IDs. You can always email to Fatima at uniathena.com as well as admissions at uniathena.com. If you want to WhatsApp, you can always use the number that is shared on the screen and send a WhatsApp message to us, and we will reply to you as soon as possible. I would request you to go to www.uniathena.com and see what kind of different courses we offer, what kind of different universities. So, for example, if you are keen on getting a degree from a particular university, you can always go on the website and find out which different universities programs are offered through Uni Athena, and you can always come back to us. We'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you so much again for attending today's webinar. I really appreciate the kind of enthusiasm that you have shown today. Really means a lot to all of us. And thank you once again. Many of the attendees have asked if we can share the slides. So if you can go to YouTube or LinkedIn, this webinar is going to be uploaded over there, and you can save our slides, or you can get all the information from YouTube. It will be there on Uni Athena's channel. Thank you so much once again, everyone. I also thank the panelists once again for coming today and sharing their wonderful time. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Arga, have you taken the screenshot? Shall I take in the call?